Welcome to Uping Stock Trend Prediction channel. So in this video, I'll talk about the prediction and analysis of Tesla stock price for the coming week, next week, basically the second week of October. So today is October 8th. So this is the Tesla stock charts. And this is a Tesla monthly chart. This is a Tesla daily chart. So that means for if you select a time frame, for example, monthly chart, so that means each vertical bar is 1 month's real-time fluctuation data, and this kind of trend lines, different yellow trend line or blue trend line, so are the prediction model, the predicted target high and target low for that month or for each month. So this monthly chart, I already showed this monthly chart in last video 102. This is October's fluctuation price, so it was closed there at that time. In video 102, this is the predicted trend lines, the predicted target price, target high or low for this month. So this month is October 8th. Today is October 8th. So this month is not completed yet. So this trend line at a different level was already generated before October starts. So basically after the end of September, so this kind of a fluctuation target price was already generated before October started. So at that time, so the normal regular expectation range for this kind of a month is around this range. I mentioned that, but I also mentioned that because in September it was closed around here, just around this trend line, a little bit above this trend line. So I mentioned if this price can hold the stock price, and then it still have a chance to drop a little bit more, so drop it down to this range. So the last week it didn't fluctuate in this band. It opened here for the first week of this month. So it opened here, it first fluctuate at this downtrend, at this lower band. So you see it opened here for this month in October, and then started a little bit, shooted up a little bit, and then dropped down. So during the first week of October, and you can see this is a daily chart. This is a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and it has a decreasing trend, and as was predicted in the last video. So it was continuously have a decreasing trend, and has decreased down to this trend line. And you see this is the middle blue trend lines generally represent the low price region, and it dropped down to this trend line, and the stopped here, closed here. That's the end of the last week, and since it was dropped below this trend line, so there's a possibility that the Tesla stock price may still have a possibility to drop down, even down to this trend line for this month. But this could be a possible fluctuation range for this month. So there's another possibility that because it also was dropped to this trend line, so it may still have a temporary rebound and tries to fluctuate up. So this is based on the monthly chart, and if you switch it to weekly chart, and you can see last week. It opened here and has a continuously basically drop about the $35 of a drop last week. And the week before the video 102, you see it was closed here, and the trend and this kind of a prediction model was also, the chart was also shown up to this level NVIDIA 102 because that's the predicted trend lines. NVIDIA 102 after this week was completed, the end of the September, after that week was completed, so it opened here and fluctuated, opened here below this blue trend line, so it has much strong decreasing momentum, so it started to fluctuate in this range, and it dropped a little bit more below this bottom trend line, so that shows it has a strong decreasing momentum. When it dropped to even below this the bottom trend line, it's just this kind of a situation doesn't happen very often, but when it's happened here, even though when it dropped here, generally it could be a good buying opportunity and represent a low price region. So for example, if this is the historic prediction model and the actual fluctuation price, this kind of based on the historic data, and all this kind of a trend line for the next week basically already generated and typically will not changed after the previous Tesla data was completed. So it's a kind of a prediction. So you see, based on this kind of a prehistoric data, and it doesn't happen very often when the actual stock price dropped even below this bottom trend line. So for example, for this one, it dropped below this trend line, but at that time it still have a very strong decreasing momentum. So even though that means the next week could potentially have a lower price than this price, but generally, even though you purchase some Tesla stocks around this price range, generally you still have a good chance to sell it even at that week. After it dropped down below this trend line, and it started to have a temporary rebound, and also the next coming week is also have a higher price range than this price, and even you consider some kind of a mid-term or long-term investment, and after several weeks, it still have a big increase. So the kind of a good rebound and a good increasing trend after this week. So you can still have a good return and make a lot of profit, even though you sell the stocks around this price range. So it still have a good chance. So even though when this dropped below this bottom trend line, so and also it started to have a temporary rebound, and then you see next week it opened here a little bit above this trend line, so it moved up one more band, and then have a very good rebound and should the price up to this range. So you have a chance to sell those kind of stocks and also make a profit, get a return. So and you see, so generally it will not break this kind of a bottom trend line, and even for this price, when it drops below this trend line, so it still represent a good low price region, a good buying point. And then you see it started to increase up to this level, and then the next week it opened here above this trend line, so it means it opened up to a higher band to an upper band, and then it started to increase, have a good rebound, and also have a higher price. So even though you sell it around this price, there's a good price difference between this point and this point. And then if you even consider after several weeks, it even have a much bigger rebound, much higher price, even up to this price around $380. So this price is $380, and this price is $235. So $235 up to $380. So it's almost like $150 of increase. So that's a big increase. So it's a kind of still is a kind of implied a good buying opportunity. So even though you see this point, when this stock price dropped below this trend line, so it started to increase up to here, and the next week it dropped a little bit, have a little bit more dip, and then it started to increase, and then the next week following that week, and then even shoot it up to this range, and also have a little bit more steady increasing trend. And you see this from this price is $187. So I think this price I think this is happened before the split. So if you multiply by 3, so basically it's around $187 multiplied by 3. So even though you use this price $187 and up to this point 400, so $187 up to $400, that's about $220 of difference. $220 of difference. That's a big difference. And also that if that price is before the split, and that's price that will also multiply by 3, so that's a big jump. So many people will be interested in what will happen the next week, for the coming week, second week of October. So the last week it closed here, like what I said, using that monthly chart. So it may have a possibility that it may drop, it may fluctuate in this lower range to have a continuous decreasing trend. But it still have a good higher opportunity to increase, to have a temporary rebound and have some kind of a fluctuation around this range. So depends on how it will open next week. So early next week, the fluctuation range is around this range, is between $210 and $228. So it's around this range of for prediction, and that depends on how it will open the next week. So if it's opened above this $218, so it will have a higher probability to fluctuate, have a temporary rebound, may go up to $238. So if it opened below this $210, then it will have a higher probability that it may fluctuate still in this lower band range. We just need to keep an eye on that and make sure you have some kind of a stop loss. But it still have a good chance to have a temporary rebound. So if you are interested in this kind of analysis and evaluation, you are welcome to subscribe Uping Stock Trend Prediction channel or watch more video in YouTube.